Hi! Today I am sharing my latest zine. It's called Obeah meets Fairmaid, and it is based on, takes excerpts from my father's book, Metegee. This is a page from his book about fair maids. And then this is a pronto plate print that is on coffee dyed paper, which I love dyeing paper with coffee. I started doing it with my students at York College. We were looking at an artist who does that, and one of my students was interested, and I was like, oh, we can do it in class. And then I started experimenting before the class so that I would know what to do when we got to class, and I just fell in love with it. So this is, I'm trying to remember the artist's name. I feel bad that I don't right now. But okay, so so this is the pronto plate print that I did, and I did this on coffee stained paper that I had collaged these two elements onto, and this was done at the Robert Blackburn printmaking workshop where I had the SIB fellowship, which the deadline is coming up next month, so definitely apply for that fellowship because it's awesome. So that's the cover. So then inside, so this is my father's book, Metegee. Okay, so Obeah meets Fairmaid. Text by Ovid Abrams Sr. Artwork by Keisha Damali Abrams, aka Damali Abrams, the Glitter Priestess. That's me. The text in this zine all comes from the book Metegee, The History and Culture of Guyana, published by my father, Ovid S. Abrams Sr. in 1996. However, the artwork included here is not intended to illustrate the excerpts from my father's book. Hearing the history and culture of Guyana. Hearing the history and culture of Guyana from my mother and father throughout my life is a continued inspiration to my work, and that is what this zine is intended to illustrate. And then there's my name, and then this zine is made possible in part by the Queen's Council on the Arts with public funds from the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs in partnership with the City Council. Okay, so then these are pages from Metegee, my father's book, and this shows a map of Guyana and gives a little bit of a historical background. Guyana is the only English-speaking nation in South America. It is situated between Venezuela, Brazil, and Suriname. Throughout its historical British length, this country has closer cultural and economic ties with the Caribbean islands than with its neighbors on the continent. Okay, so, and it gives a little bit more information. I'm not going to read you the whole book, or the whole zine, or whatever. So then we talk about mysterious spirit beings, and then there's one of my collages, and this is also on coffee stained paper. And here it starts to describe Old Haig. In Guyanese lore, Old Haig is a person who has supernatural powers and needs to suck the blood of babies to stay alive. And then that's the collage that I've made. And then this is a watercolor monotype with pronto plate lithography print over it. This was my first watercolor monotype when I started the fellowship, and then later I put this pronto plate litho text on it that says, "Fuck off," said the shimmering, moody black mermaid. Your racist microaggressions have no power here. It's kind of dark, but the sentiment is clear. And then it talks about, and then there's the excerpt from my father's book that talks about Britain outlaws spiritualism. Under British rule, spiritual churches were outlawed in Guyana. This is about the British imperialists who saw spiritualism as esoteric and mysterious were terrified by it. They derisively referred to all forms of spiritualism as Obeah, a name that is still used to describe one faction of Guyanese spiritualism. This is a term that's also used in other places throughout the Caribbean. And then here are two other of my collages. This one is Mary pregnant with Jesus. And this one is three women who I got from a Doctors Without Borders brochure. And then it says, all we do is win, which is one of my sister Abiola's favorite affirmations. And it's also, hearing her use it all the time, it's become one of my favorite affirmations as well. All I do is win. And then on the next page, it goes into some common bush medicines, Guyanese folk wisdom, things for backache, common cold, bellyache, bilious. And then on the other side is an embroidery that I made. My friend Blanca Amescua had this series of embroidery workshops. And this was one of the pieces I wound up making that wound up being in my SIP fellowship exhibition. And it's Third Eye Opening Oil, Mugwort, Rose, Amethyst, $11. That was an oil I had made a couple of years ago. I have to re-up on that one. And then it continues with the bush medicine on the next page. Laxative, gas pain, eye trouble, sexual arousal, shampoo. And then there's my mermaid with the mud cloth tail. This young man was on the cover of a Queen's parenting magazine. I think it's called Queen's Parents, and it said Queen's Teens, and it was him. And I put on his t-shirt, "You have the right to feel safe in your own body." And then this is on fabric, 2 different fabrics. This fabric border was this kind of tunic that I bought at a thrift shop, and I really loved that. And this fabric, I think Cookins gave me this fabric that's in the background, and the mud cloth, Abiola, my sister. It's a family affair. Cookins is my cousin. He's also going to be one of the sponsors of this event to launch the zine. So there's my Kanye mermaid, which is part of another larger collage. So this Kanye mermaid was a pronto plate lithography print that was shingle laid onto a watercolor monotype. These are also shingle laid elements. And then I painted over it. And then this is like a felt flower that's stuck on that I got from Materials for the Arts. I got a lot of great stuff from the Materials for the Arts. I was there. Actually, one of the other fellows handed me that when we were at Materials for the Arts. And the text, which did not come out good, unfortunately says, not that it unfortunately says, but it's unfortunate that it didn't come out clear. The text says, "If they tell you it was suicide, avenge my death." And that was something I was thinking about in terms of people like Sandra Bland and others who mysteriously died, and then we were told it was suicide. And I was thinking I made this at a time when Kanye was kind of locked up, and they were saying he was insane, and I was like, I don't know what's about to happen to him. And I also wanted people to know for myself that if they tell you it was suicide, avenge my death, because I'm not going to kill myself. So if anything happens and whoever comes and tells you it was suicide, get them. So my people know what I'm talking about. I'm talking to the right people. That's not for everybody, but my homies will do what they have to do. And then this is the page where the title comes from. Obeah Man Meets Fairmaid. Fairmaid belonged to a group of amphibious people. I'm actually going to turn it around so I can read it. Fairmaid belonged to a group of amphibious people with the physical appearance of human beings, but they are spirits, female spirits. They live at the bottom of dark water trenches, rivers, and creeks, but they can also survive on land. Fairmaid can function either as spirits or in their physical form. And later it says their counterparts are mermaids who live in the sea, the deep blue water. So in Guyana, there's a lot of black water, and that's where the Fairmaids live. And other places, they're the mermaids. And then it goes into a little bit of the story of Obeah Man Meets Fairmaid. Uncle Joe was the village Obeah man whose powers of divination were known far and wide. And it talks about the different Fairmaids he worked with to keep the spirits happy and maintain his powers. Uncle Joe kept banquets and feasts every 3 months. Okay. And then the story is continued on the next side. And it's basically like he was giving all these offerings to the Fairmaids, and then once his life started getting great, he felt like he didn't need them anymore, and that didn't work out for him. Okay, so then this is another collage of mine that's over another pronto plate lithography print with the same page, Obeah meets Fairmaid, and then I collaged that onto this also coffee stained paper, and then this says, "Please touch my soft pink chakras." And this was a little collage that I had made a couple of years ago for this collaborative exhibition I did in Minneapolis. Did I do that one in Minneapolis or in California? I made this one in California. Sorry. So when I was it's a long story. Anyway, but it was a collaboration, an exhibition called Friendship is Magic. And so I took that collage and this, and I collaged them both onto the coffee stained paper, and I thought that it looked really well together. Okay. It's like bedtime story time. And then this is my Serena Williams Pregnant Mermaid, and it says, "It's okay for me to have everything I really want and more. It's okay for me to have everything I really want and more. It's okay for me to have everything I really want and more." I like to incorporate affirmations into collages. And then this is another old hike story. This goes into more description of the old hike. I think this is a continuation of that first old hike page that came up earlier. Page 371. Yeah. So they're separated in here, but they go together. And then this collage also is on one of the coffee stain paper. It's in a series with the other one, and this was based on it's called The Bad Inn. It was a part of this Beautiful Monsters series that I was making. It was based on someone I was dating. She was very, very beautiful, but had another side. And I don't say that in a judgmental way, because the same might be said about me. I look very nice on the outside, and hopefully one would say I look very nice on the outside, and then I wouldn't care what else they say after that. Okay, so then the last page is African Spirits Prevail, and I thought that was a great note to end on. It says, "The priest lights the seven African powers incense and then lights red and green candles." It describes a ritual based on giving offerings to African spirits, and I thought that was a good place to end, because it's like charting the journey of my heritage, Guyana, back to the motherland. And then the final page is this photo of me and my father. And actually my sister Abiola was here, and we had to, we had to crop her out, unfortunately. Sorry, Abiola. Only because I wanted to honor my father, and I thought it was cute because it's kind of like Obeah meets Fairmaid. It's me in my mermaid costume for my live collaging performance. I'm also here doing my live collaging performance, which I will be doing at the launch party for this zine on Saturday, December 21st at Guiding Light, 148-33 Hillside Avenue. Hope to see you there. It's going to be free to get in. We're going to have Chinese pastries, Caribbean music, drinks for sale, zines for sale. It's going to be dope. And I'm going to be doing my live collaging performance, and it's just going to be fun. I'm really excited about this. I'm really grateful to Queen's Council on the Arts for supporting this project. It took a long time. It was very difficult. I mean, it seems so simple, but it was so hard. It took me all year to figure out how to do this and make the artwork, and a few of them are older collages, but just figuring out how I was going to structure it, what to do. Initially, I didn't know that I was going to use excerpts from my father's book, but I did, and I'm happy that that's how it ended up. I keep playing with my hair because I'm like forward or behind, which looks better. But anyway, so I hope to see you guys on December 21st. It's going to be the winter solstice. We're going to set our intentions for the upcoming season and the upcoming year. 2020 is going to be amazing. 2019 has been really amazing, and I'm super grateful. And thank you for watching this. Thank you for taking the ride with me. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, and thank you. Nothing but love. And I'll see you guys on the 21st. Thanks so much. Bye.